we're ready. What do you need, Harry? What do you need, Harry, over here? Set up.
Oh, yeah, how are you? Nice to meet you. Yes. Nice to meet you. Rolled up very nice.
We're ready to roll. You think he's set up? I think so. Get Bill and Ann up here, huh? He's all set. Yeah,
Is he here?
Yes, he's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Where's Bill? We got to get Bill up here.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the 33rd dedication on the Binghamton Sidewalk of Stars. I am Bob Keller, chairman of the Star Walk Committee. Our Sidewalk of the Stars is literally a dream come true for a group of us from the arts community who about 15 years ago journeyed to California to witness the dedication of the Rod Serling Star, our own Rod Serling, in Hollywood on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. When we returned, we imagined how great it would be if we could have our own Star Walk, not just dedicated to people in the theater arts, but in all the various forms of the arts in our community. So we're absolutely delighted and proud that with the cooperation of the City of Binghamton and lots of local citizens, we have prospered to this extent. We feel, and I feel, that this is the overarching honor in our community, in that it honors not only the recipient, but the organizations and the institutions that that person represents. And of course, the hundreds, the thousands of local people who believe in these people enough to pay for the cost of the stars, and then come, as you all have today, to witness the dedication. And so we'll move on. We have some wonderful luminaries here. I will first introduce Mayor Bucci.
Thank you. Do you want to put this in? Put it right there. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a special welcome to our very special guest, Bill Parker. Obviously, as you heard, this walkway here of the stars, this constellation, really represents the best in the arts and entertainment here in the southern tier of New York. And each individual that has been recognized has been a bright light, a luminary, an outstanding example of professionalism, creativity, and dedication in their respective fields. And if you look at the stars here at the conclusion of the ceremony, you will see the depth and the breadth of the talent that is represented here, and individuals who have made their mark not only on the local community, but on the national and world stage as well in their respective professions. And so we are truly blessed here in a community of this size to be able to host and to nurture such great talent in so many very special disciplines. Broadcasting is certainly no exception. And today we are recognizing an individual who has made an indelible mark on broadcasting here in the southern tier of New York and the northern tier of Pennsylvania. This is an individual who has basically worked in the fields of television broadcasting as well as radio broadcasting, and in each of the fields worked really sometimes at its earliest inception, and helped become a very important chapter in the history of television in this community as well as the history of radio. And I think that when you look and reflect on this gentleman's career, you can see that the decision to dedicate a star in his name was a very easy one. Bill Parker has demonstrated the best in broadcasting. He is a gentleman. He is someone who had his finger and continues to have his finger on the pulse of this community. He reflects what's good in this community. He always enhanced the best in people, celebrated what we are about as a community, what we strive to be, and as a result is recognized very fondly by a number of different generations of individuals who have been fortunate to either watch him or to listen to him on television and radio. And so I don't think we can convey in words the significance of this career and the fact that this is a role model for aspiring individuals who are in the field of communication. This is who you want to emulate. This is the example of broadcasting at its best. And I think and so I congratulate Bill, and as part of this very special recognition and this very special tribute, it's also my pleasure on behalf of all of the people of the city of Binghamton to declare today, November 6th, as Bill Parker Day in the city of Binghamton. And I call upon all of our residents to join me in saluting this individual for an exceptional career and all the many, many great contributions he's made to the quality of life in Binghamton, Broome County, New York, and Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. Now I'd like you to welcome Jeffrey Graham, our county executive, who will have some well-chosen words to say.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks. Thank you, Bob, and good afternoon. I kind of come at Bill and Ann from a different perspective. Actually, I've known them probably nearly 50 years. I went to school with their daughter, Brenda, and grew up in the neighborhood with Bill and Ann and their kids. And so I think I'm really honored to be here today to honor the Prince of Pickle Hill and the pride of Port Dickinson, as they know. In fact, how many people do we have from Port Dickinson, Hillcrest? Raise your hand if you're Hillcrest, Port Dickinson. See? There's a lot. We're not just taking over the county, we're taking over the whole area. But it's great to be here to honor Bill. As the mayor said, he said so many great things about Bill, and honoring him today is with his day, special day in the city of Binghamton. But Bill is just an institution, and it's been so great to know him, and he's set a great example for every one of us in the community, knowing him, growing up with his children, having been over his house as a kid, those kinds of things. It's been a great experience, and Bill and Ann, you've done so much for this community, both of you, that it's just really an honor for me to be here today to help celebrate this special day for you that's well-deserving. Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Mayor Harry Lewis, Johnson City's finest, who will also have some nice things to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bob. Well, I'll tell you, I can't say enough that about Bill, so they always say if you can't say anything good about him, don't say anything. So. But my time goes back to right after I got out of the Marine Corps. I was fortunate enough to get a job with Link Aviation. And I was working there for a while, and I got transferred up to Plant 1. They thought I did such a good job at Plant 2, and who would I run into right in the room up there, sitting at a desk next to me, but Bill Parker. Well, so I've gotten to know Bill then, and luckily 2 months later IBM called me, so I was able to finally get out from under Bill. But I'll tell you, it was nothing but a pleasure working with him. And as I said, by the Star calling him an actor, that's certainly a good term for him. But Bill, I do want to tell you that I was down at State College, Pennsylvania, and a fellow by the name of Bruce sent his regards, so I wanted you to know that, in case you remember that.
Bruce?
Yeah. But anyway, Bill is a pip. You know, about the only time I refer to the dictionary is when I want to get some descriptions about some things, and pip was one of the words that came to me because it kind of fits him as a seed of the fruit of an apple or an orange, remarkable of it, or a dot on a dice or a domino, rootstock of certain flowering plants like the lilies of the valley. Go look it up. And it's like breaking through an eggshell. Peep or a chirp at a high-pitched radio signal, so you fall into the radio world. Also, there was a slang term from that, pippin', the seed of the fruit, and an admired person. Well, certainly, we all admire Bill and congratulate him, and I just think he's well-deserving of this star. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to introduce Terry Reagan from the Binghamton Police Department. Terry, are you here? There he is.
Thank you. It's really an honor to be a part of this this celebration. Well deserved, well earned. I, like Mr. Cram, have had the fortune of knowing Mr. Parker and his family for all of my life. My family lived just a few doors down from the Parker family on what's known as Pickle Hill. And more of Mr. Parker's family lived across the street from me. So I've had the fortune of knowing those folks all my life. The thing I remember best about Mr. Parker is he was always so friendly. As kids, you go by the house and he always, hello, how you doing? How's your mom? How's your dad? Always a good word, and always said hello to you. And I mean, he was a neighborhood, he was a celebrity, but still so down to earth that you never would have known that to talk to him. I lost my spot here. I was afraid this would happen. One time as kids, we were talking with Mr. Parker, and one of my friends suggested that is there any way you could mention our names on television or say something about us on television tonight? And he said, well, we'll see. So that night we all, of course, sat around watching television, and I believe he did the weather that night. And he began his presentation with, well, it was a beautiful day for the boys of Pickle Hill to play baseball. And it was such a thrill for us. We really appreciated that, and as you can see, I still remember it to this day. Of all the roles and shows that Mr. Parker did, probably the one that I connect best with is the Officer Bill show. As you know, Officer Bill Mr. Parker played the role of Officer Bill, who was a Binghamton police officer. He wore a Binghamton police uniform and was on this show ran 9 or 10 years, I believe. And he always presented such a positive, good message. He really did so much for police community relations back in those years. Always gave such a positive image of police officers and helped to get the message out to people, and especially kids, that the police officer is your friend, that he's somebody that you can go to when you need help. And so that's always stood out with me. And I was talking to another Officer Bill, who's here somewhere, Officer Bill Grace, another semi-famous Officer Bill. There he is. And he mentioned that he also had a memory of Mr. Parker, that as a kid, he appeared on the Colonel Bleep show, and that had meant a lot to him. But he also remembered Officer Bill, and just the thing that stood out in his mind was what a professional and positive image he gave. In more recent years now, 30-some years later, I've had the privilege of working with Mr. Parker on a professional level. He very recently made a couple of appearances as Officer Bill again, and very fortunately myself and my unit at the police department were able to participate and assist in those events. So that was kind of another big thrill after all my history with Mr. Parker. So I'm only supposed to speak for 2 or 3 minutes here, so I've already blown that. But to Mr. Parker, congratulations, and well deserved, and thanks for the memories.
And now would you greet Mario DeFulvio from Horizons Credit Union?
Well, Bill, I'm not going to make them. I've got my notes. I haven't been taking ginkgo that long, so if I don't have, it's not that I'm not sincere. It's just that I'm going to need something to help me here. I'm the president of Horizons Credit Union, and that's really how I got to know Bill Parker as well as I know him today. Bill's a member of the credit union, and he's in borrowing probably more than saving, right, Bill? But we see him in quite a bit. He's in line, and not a day can go by where when he's in line, I don't make a point to go out there and chat with him, because he makes the day. He can take a terrible day and make it so much brighter. And it happens so much. And in the lobby, probably you can't get through the lobby without somebody saying, Officer Bill, the Ranch Club, all of his moments on the radio. But I'm here really just to say a few words about Bill, the person that I've gotten to know. He has a very impressive resume, but I also got to know Bill on Pickle Hill. I lived just a few houses on Kirkwood Avenue from Bill, and I got to say that it's always a pleasure seeing Bill in the credit union, talking with Bill. He can make you laugh. He can make a long day short. The biggest kick I always get out of Bill is when he pokes fun at Ann. The two of them, they poke fun at each other, but it's that remote, it's that little thing he's got on his. What did you say that was? Something they attached when you got married? The honeydew. The buzzer goes off. Bill. But I envy the respect and love they have for each other. The two of these people, the love they have for each other is just so evident, so obvious. When a committee called our credit union to help sponsor a star for Bill, I just remember thinking that it was about time. Bill is an icon in our community. He stands for fairness, honesty, and compassion. I've always admired his gentle ways and his sincere love for our community and for the people in it. I'm proud to know Bill Parker, and I'm delighted to be part of this celebration. Congratulations, Bill, and may your star always shine.
And now Roger Conklin, who is a retired general manager of Citadel Broadcasting, who has a very close association with the guest of honor today.
Thank you, Bob.
It's a privilege for me to be here today and be asked to say a few words on behalf of Bill Parker receiving this honor of the Star on the Walk of Fame. My association with Bill goes back 48 years when I was a 19-year-old cameraman working for the WNBF TV in the basement of the Arlington Hotel, doing the TV Ranch Club that Bill hosted. Over the years of working together, one of the many qualities I admire about Bill is his commitment to his chosen profession of being the best communicator that he could be. He often said, "You are only as good as yesterday's show." Whether it was on television or radio, Bill has always strived to be the best that he could be. Over his 50-plus years of entertaining you, his listening and viewing audience, his warm and friendly personality is genuine. His warm and friendly personality is genuine, and he was still a part of this community that he loves so much. Today, Bill, you are rightly deserved this honor with a star that continually shines and reminds the Southern Tier that you are the Dean of Broadcasting.
I'd like to introduce another broadcasting luminary, Bill Flynn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much. Bill, I probably speak for a lot of the broadcasters here, a lot of the people in radio and television who have known you for many years. I first heard Bill Parker when I was going to college in Wilkes-Barre back in the 1970s. And I graduated college, and I'm driving down Route 81 to go to Wilkes-Barre, and I picked up the station, and I heard Bill, and I says, my God, what a great entertainer, what a great communicator. He brought me into his show, and I just always enjoyed him so much. And I remember the first thing that we all need to recognize as we are successful is we need to identify, to be successful, to identify with the talent that God has given us. And God gave Bill Parker the talent of being a communicator, a broadcaster, an entertainer. And over the years, he has used that entertainment to bring us all together. Because all the broadcasters here know that as we sit in the studio, as Bill has, to do our radio shows, we're by ourselves. We have a cup of coffee, a glass of water, a phone call. We're all alone. But when we get out in the community, as Bill has done in the community, you can be what you want to be. And as part of the community, Bill Parker has gained respect, honor, and esteem as being a community person. He and Ann have built friends, have brought in many friends, and of course held on to those relationships. So the talent that God has given Bill Parker to be a communicator is something that he took and ran with and did the best he could with. That's why we're all here today, because in some way Bill Parker has touched us either through communications or friendship or traveling in some way, and I am just proud to be a part of it on behalf of all the broadcasters here, Bill, all the radio and television people who didn't get the opportunity to stand here like I did. I represent you all. We love you, and we are pleased to work with you, and you are the Dean of Radio Broadcasting.
I've been working closely with our next speaker for months to bring this wonderful event to fruition. So I would now like to introduce Clarence Chauncey.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you, there's not much more that Carmen and I can say about you. You know that we love you, and we'd like to thank the speakers that came here today. It's a chilly day. You did all a good job. We thank Bob Keller for all his input and all his work. And to celebrate this day is a special thanks to all the sponsors. Now, without these sponsors, this would not be here. So we thank them entirely. And Carm, I want to say a couple words there.
Where are we?
Any place.
We want to thank everyone for coming that's here. And if Bob Keller had let us, we could have kept collecting money and Bill could have had 3 stars or more. But we had to quit at 1. And we want to thank so many folks that wanted to get in on the contributions, and we had to cut it off at the mark and couldn't take them. But thanks anyway. It's a great day.
And now the magic moment. As chairman of the Binghamton Sidewalk of Stars Committee, on behalf of Mayor Bucci and our committee, I hereby dedicate the Bill Parker Star. And now, Bill will have a few words to say.
What to say? I have a lot of words to say. It would take up a whole hour and a half, and I know that you have busy schedules, but looking around at these beautiful faces and looking into these faces, what a joyful day this is. Of course, a few of you need your faces looking into. I'm sorry, Ann, I didn't mean to say that. Damn. She said, Bill, don't tell any of your stories. Don't tell any stories. Okay, so I won't. I'm sorry. But working with Mayor Bucci, as I have for many, many moons, Mayor, thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate them. You know, in '48, when I came to the Southern Tier, this was Washington Street, right through here. The church, as it is, still there. And over on this side was the Binghamton YMCA, and being a homeless person, coming down from Utica, I went over, paid my $5 and joined the YMCA, Binghamton Y, and had a room there for several months. And of course the Arlington up at the other corner. So my life was at the Binghamton Y, the Arlington Hotel, the Carlton, all of the Sissons and the Fowlers and the department stores and the hustle and bustle of what was the city of Binghamton in the 50s and 60s. So all of that is just like a stone's throw from here to bring back the memories, Mayor, of how the city changes. And the city is going to continue to change. It's how all of our lives change from decade to decade. What was yesterday, but tomorrow, well, that's another new day to look into. So, Mayor, thank you for that. Now, for Mayor Lewis, he's another guy. He brought up working at Link, but before that, I couldn't figure out if he was a Cub Scout on Officer Bill, and I thought, no, that couldn't be. That could not be. Was he a rancher on the TV Ranch Club? No, it couldn't have been that. But I do recall when I worked at Link, it was during one of the disputes we had, and I was there for about 6-7 months. And Mayor Lewis, all I'll say is that I was a character that liked to keep figures and numbers. So when I ordered parts for Link, I'd put a little code check number on it. And after I left there, the department head called me up, I think it was at Channel 40, he said, Bill, what the hell is all this stuff on these order blanks? Well, I said, that's my personal code. He said, don't ever do that again. So I knew I wasn't cut out for the industrial world. But the broadcasting world was what really I loved the most. Roger Conklin, yes, we worked together during those early days of Channel 12 with Terry Quinn and Gino Riccadelli and the engineers. And as I look around here, Fred Heckman, so many of the others that I worked with when we first went on the air, it was like a big party opening up all the boxes of cameras and cables and putting it all together for what was to be Channel 12. Television, when it came along in all of its glory in 1949, was the opening of a whole new era for America, in fact. Television became it. Whenever interviews were done, it no longer was behind smoke-filled room doors. It was out in the open, and the politicians put their best suit on and their ties, and they want to look the best they could. That's because television did that. For Sergeant Regan, yes, a great guy from our Kirkwood Avenue and a beautiful family. Love them all, and a great contributor. And I did want to add to his story is the fact that lately, when I tried to get into my old Officer Bill uniform, the shirt didn't fit anymore. Mainly because they changed the style of the uniform, where I had the long blue shirt, and this was summertime. For the short blue, I had the lighter blue. He said, Bill, don't worry, borrow mine. So I became a sergeant immediately. No pay increase, Mayor, but I don't care. That's okay. I became a sergeant, and working with Officer Grace, come over here with me. Please come over here. Officer Bill Grace. Ladies and gentlemen, it is ironic. It is ironic that our paths continue to cross as a police officer doing a radio top 40 show as an actor, and me as an actor being a police officer. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did, sir.
Just say something. Just say hi to him.
As Terry Reagan mentioned earlier, I was lucky enough to be a baby boomer here in Binghamton to grow up with Bill Parker. And he was a role model for the baby boomers. He was, like all the speakers before me have said, he was it, man. He was at the top. And we loved him because he represented America back before the Vietnam War, back when the world was a little simpler. And he was the guy. And as said here before, he's still the guy. I was lucky enough years later to be known as Officer Bill, but there's only one Officer Bill, and it's this fellow right here.
God love you. And just briefly again, I know that time is of essence here. Mario from the Credit Union, thank you kindly for the beautiful. Bill Flynn speaking, as you said, for the broadcasters. Broadcasting is a business, and a lot of the young folks that are here today are beginning in their broadcast career here in our valley. And broadcasting is an endeavor that will reward you 1 minute and break your heart the next. So be prepared. You got to love it, but you'll never leave it. Again, I want to thank Clarence and Carm Chauncey for coordinating this event today. Their hard work in coordinating the award through the Greater Binghamton Walk of Fame. Bob Keller, again, thank you, Chairman. By the way, he has a story too. When I worked at NBF at the Arlington, guess who was in the payroll department and gave me my check every week? His mother.
Those enormous checks.
Yeah, my $39.40. $5 went to the YMCA, though. But you could eat there, too. All of the individuals and dignitaries and individuals that contributed to the dedication. Friends, you welcomed me into your homes for over 50 years, and I'm grateful. Success to me was and is the youth of our community. The first live kids show was the TV Ranch Club. In addition, there was the Iva Mae Cheney that I worked with Chalk Talk was a 15-minute program, but the Ranch Club and the Officer Bill Show really was a highlight of my career, produced at Channel 12. Every day I talk to people who share their memories of early television. One, in fact, just called me last week, and she saw a picture of a Cub Scout that I interviewed. She said, "That's my son. He's now 60 years old. He's the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota." Great memories from you all. I love you. Thank you for being loyal to me. Thank you for this special day. Thank you for the good memories, good friends, and as the song says, who could ask for anything more? Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And I followed your career delightedly for many, many years, from those years when you were 25 years old, and I won't say how old I was. I want to thank Bob Huckabone for filming us today. And we're going to be on television tomorrow at 3, is it, Bill? And I want to thank you all for coming, all our dignitaries, and it's been a wonderful occasion. That marks the end of the ceremony. Thank you.
Very nice. Worked out very, very good.
Yes, it did. Thank you for coming.
Nice job. Everything went well. Very good.
Good to see you. Get rid of your cold.
Oh, yes.
You remember.
That's a pretty interesting story.
I haven't seen you in a long time, man. I've been around. Yes, life was so good. Weren't they better? Yeah, they were a lot.
Let's see both. Good. I see you. I'll be up there. I'm coming up with Patty.
They're good. Over there, buddy. Did he vanish? He probably vanished. What are you looking for? Russell.
Who?
Tony Russell.
Oh, Russell. I haven't seen him here.
Talk with Tony.
Yeah, was he coming over?
That's what I say. I thought he was.
He was wandering around. He probably had to go home.